Deji Adeyanju urges Tinubu to declare state of emergency on Nigeria's housing crisis. Well, maybe not enough to declare a state of emergency, but the housing crisis in Nigeria is getting out of hand. It is really getting out of hand. Human rights lawyer and activist Deji Adeyanju has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on Nigeria's deepening housing and rental crisis, warning that soaring rates and exploitative tenancy practices are pushing millions of Nigerians deeper into poverty. Yes, because how do you save? How do you really save? How much is salary? House rent keeps increasing. Some landlords that are not even doing anything to their house, no fixes, nothing. They would increase salary 50%, 100% sometimes. And you should be wondering, like, what's going on? Don't we have bodies that are regulating this thing? Though some people say, oh, they should reduce the price of cement first. But some people have built their houses for the longest time and they've not done any major changes, but they are increasing house rents. And nothing can be done. What can you do? They'll say if you cannot pay, move out. The crisis is out of this world. The amount that you pay an agent, legal fee, commission, this one, that one, what is wrong? Legal. That is supposed to be paid by the landlord, that still tenants go pay them. It is actually a state of emergency, I'm telling you. I think I agree that it is actually a state of emergency. In an open letter addressed to the president on Monday, Adeyanju described the housing situation, particularly in Abuja and Lagos, as a silent, agonizing erosion of human dignity, and urged the federal government to take urgent constitutional and policy measures to protect tenants and expand access to affordable housing. He argued that access to decent shelter is not a privilege, but a constitutional obligation of government, citing sections 14 and 16 of the 1999 Constitution as well as Nigeria's obligation under international human rights law. Shelter is not luxury product reserved for the highest bidder. It is a fundamental human right, an indispensable cornerstone of human existence and a core, undeniable responsibility of government, Adeyanju said. The activist described what he described as the unchecked exploitations of tenants by landlords, estate agents actually, and property speculators through excessive rent demand, agency fee, legal charges, service charges, caution fee. According to him, ordinary Nigerians are increasingly being priced out of the housing market. Middle-income men and civil servants, young professionals and vulnerable families are routinely extorted by opportunistic landlords, real estate speculators, and unregulated estate agents, he stated. Adeyanju also cautioned that ongoing urban renewal initiatives would fail if they displace the very people who sustain Nigerian cities. When urban renewal simply translates to gentrification, mass evictions, and pricing out the essential workforce, it ceases to be development, it becomes social violence, he said. As part of his recommendation, Adeyanju urged President Tinubu to establish a presidential task force on rental reform within a 90-day mandate to develop a comprehensive national housing and tenancy policy and, where necessary, prepare an executive bill on tenancy reform for transformation of the National Assembly. He also proposed sweeping reforms to regulate the rental market, including a legal cap of 7.5% on combined agency and legal fees, a maximum service charge of 5% of annual rent, a 1-year limit on the advance rent payment, and a ban on non-refundable caution fee. In addition, he called for the creation of a digital reporting platform through which tenants can report erring landlords, yes, and estate agents. You see those estate agents, they are the problem. Sometimes it's not even the landlord. Some landlords will put their houses at so price, estate agents will increase it, and they'll still collect their own commission. See, our leaders are bad, agreed. But Nigerians, we are not nice people. We are very wicked, and now we do ourselves pass. Because I don't understand. And this thing should be backed by stringent sanctions for violation. The human rights lawyer further urged the federal government to expand low-cost public housing through public-private partnership, tax incentives, and targeted investment aimed at increasing affordable housing for low and middle-income earners. History will judge this administration not only by its macroeconomic indicators, but by how basic human dignity was safeguarded during times of deep economic transition, he said. He added, securing shelter for our citizens is not an act of charity. It is a constitutional command and a fundamental human right. Adeyanju's intervention comes amidst growing concern over the rising cost of accommodation in major Nigerian cities, where rents have climbed sharply in recent years, placing increasing financial pressure on households already grappling with inflation and a high cost of living. Housing advocates have repeatedly called for stronger regulation of Nigeria's rental market, arguing that the absence of uniform national tenancy framework has left many tenants vulnerable to arbitrary charges and exploitative practices, as in the exploitation is a lot. Is a lot. It is well. Olabi says, well said, great contribution from Adeyanju towards Nigeria national relief for Nigerians. Aminu says the government are the ones forcing cement producers on rising to get more revenue from them. Besides, 80% of the money directly goes to the government. Forget about the ones that are building new houses right now. The ones that have built their house since ancient of days, that they did not do anything amazing, like no renovation, nothing, but they are increasing their house rents. And what about those ones? So did they just go and buy new cement? Or did they just go and buy new gravel? So why are they increasing their house rent? Pretend says absolutely correct, sir. Krista says, I support you this with my full chest. Oh my God, it's too much. Many citizens are already losing their jobs and businesses and retiring to villages as they could no longer afford to exist in the city. I'm telling you, the prices of house rent is ridiculous. Very ridiculous. You see a mini flight, they tell you 1.2 million. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Everything they put together could no longer make up house rent, talk less of affording to feed fine. It is worse in Port Harcourt, and agents are at the center of it all. It is the agents. It is the agent. There should be a platform where you can just go to your landlord straight, not having to deal with any agent, because those agents are really the problem. They are the major influencing factor. They have even increased their agent fee to 20%. Just imagine. With this tight economy, and they don't care. They'll be looking for the people that will pay, because they know that actually some people would pay that money. I don't understand. It is well, though. Temple says, we support the human rights lawyer and activist Deji Adeyanju call on President Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on Nigeria's deepening housing and rental crisis 100%. The situation is becoming very unbearable for the good and hardworking citizens of Nigeria living in towns and cities across the country. Yes, because at this point in time, some people would afford the money because they are into their own. They are not really working for their money. If you are really working for your money, you have families, you have parents, you have everything, you pay school fees, you do all of these things. It's tiring. It's really tiring. So they must really do something about it. So, my listeners, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.